But joining us now to discuss is former FBI agent Michael Grimm, former Georgia Congressman Doug Collins, and Professor Emeritus at Harvard Law School, Alan Dershowitz. Great to have all three of you with us. Alan, I'm going to start with you. I know you told Greta Van Susteren right here on Newsmax, I believe it was last night, that you felt there will be no way that former President Donald Trump would be prosecuted, especially with the documents now that we're learning that President Biden also has.
I don't think anybody will be prosecuted. I think these appointments of special counsel are necessary to create an appearance of justice. But it's obvious now that many presidents, I bet if you go back, you're going to find presidents over the years having stuff in their houses. This has now become clear that this is all accidental. It's not inadvertent. It's not deliberate. Nobody's selling secrets to China. This is carelessness. This is maybe keeping some material so you can, as an aid to helping write your memoir. But this is just, you know, if there hadn't been the raid on Mar-a-Lago, this wouldn't have been noticed. It's what happens when the Democrats go after Republicans, and then they have to apply the law equally to their own. And this is just an example of what happens when you weaponize criminal justice. It comes back to hurt you. It comes back to haunt you. This is going nowhere. I guarantee you there will be no criminal prosecutions, either of Trump or Biden or anyone else, unless there is further evidence of obstruction of justice or something serious. There will not be prosecution for mishandling of classified material any more than there was against Hillary Clinton.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Michael Grimm, as a former FBI guy. Leaving aside, I don't know if we can take the shot. He's right here with us. Leaving aside whether something was in a garage or not, which the lawyers found this. So can we believe what the lawyers tell us? And we'll also leave aside that when you say a locked garage, it's almost an oxymoron. The purpose of a garage is to give access to the outside. So even that, as we take a picture right here, here's what a locked garage is. It's not locked right there, right? And as you see behind him some documents, now, of course, we have no reason to believe those are, you know, the documents were in there. So my question to you is, before the FBI gets involved, the lawyers told them, we have these documents. Can you believe what they're telling you? And does the FBI feel like they're left out? What do they find out when they get on the scene?
Okay, that's a great question, Bob. And I want to also clarify, you know, Mr. Dershowitz is probably one of the best in the business for these types of questions. And I agree there won't be any prosecutions. But I do want to clarify something. A crime has been committed just by the law, okay? Mishandling of documents, it doesn't matter whether you intended or not. So when Hillary Clinton, you know, Comey came out and said she was careless, but she didn't intend to mishandle these classified documents. Irrelevant. There is no intent. So that's first and foremost. The fact that they were found in a garage or in any place that was not the proper place, locked away where classified documents are allowed to be by government standards, the crime was committed at that time, regardless of how quickly you turn them over or anything else. So that's number one. A crime was committed. I agree. No one will be prosecuted for it. But with respect to this garage and the FBI, can they believe? I don't think there's much to disagree with as far as the attorneys. I think the attorneys were notified that these boxes were found probably by someone cleaning the garage, probably by someone that was on the staff of the president that was taking care of the garage and the car, and found these boxes and said, oh my goodness, and notified his lawyers and said, hey, we have these documents. And then the lawyers right away probably said, I have to call the FBI and say we have classified documents that we should not have.
Yeah, Doug, also this morning, President Biden was asked what he was thinking leaving classified documents next to his Corvette. Take a listen to his response.
Classified material next to your Corvette? What were you thinking?
Let me, I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week, people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage, okay? So it's not like you're sitting out in the street. As I said earlier this week, people know I take classified documents and classified material seriously. They discovered a small number of documents of classified markings in storage areas and file cabinets in my home and my personal library.
He's reading that.
He is. Trying to sound kind of extemporaneous, but not so much. Doug, my question to you here is, okay, they were in his locked garage next to his Corvette, fine, or in the locked closet at his personal office. It seems strange that suddenly, at this time, these documents that otherwise, nobody even knew existed theoretically, have suddenly been, quote unquote, found. It doesn't seem like you stumble upon these documents. How did Biden's leader or lawyers stumble upon these documents? Or is this part of a more intricate plan as we lead up to the all-important 2024 election?
Bob, I know what you're talking about there, and it's undecided, is the president going to run again or not, and all of a sudden this stuff is coming back that could actually harm him from running. I mean, either way, this is, look, it really bothers me on several fronts, my former colleague Michael, he had this perfectly. This is a crime, okay, and we can debate how we handle this and how we don't do it, but if this name was Doug Collins, Airman First Class in the United States Air Force, and I had inadvertently put a document on a hard drive, or I took something home, it does not matter where I thought to, wanted to, or didn't to. I would be come down very hard, probably lose my career and everything else. We're handling this, and Joe Biden saying, well, my garage was locked, just really taunts at those people who have to deal with classified information all along. Also, it's really concerning to me in this sense of, and if this is somebody trying to get back at him, they're doing a pretty good job of it here, but it's also, isn't it concerning to you that Joe Biden doesn't even sort of remember this? It's like, oh, well, I don't know if I had them or not. This is another issue of how did they get there? And then my last question on this is how did we get all of this in here? Why have there not been questions about who's been questioned, what's been locked up, whose computers have been taken, whose phones have been taken, all these kind of things that need to be answered. You can't just simply run this to the side and pretend it's different because it's Joe Biden.
Yeah, and Alan, you're the constitutional lawyer here, so we all believe what you're saying. There will be no charges. But just to make clear what Michael's saying, I mean, there really are laws against illegally handling these things, and especially in the case of Mr. Biden, he was not president. I mean, former President Trump could argue, and has in some situations, maybe he had declared them not classified. But this does appear that there are some laws being violated. Espionage laws, handling of government documents, those kinds of things. You would agree with that as opposed to just, yeah, go ahead.
No, not. There's no espionage laws being violated here. Yes, there is a technical statute that says illegal possession or improper possession of classified material is a crime. It's almost never prosecuted.
Okay.
What was prosecuted was Sandy Berger.
It is.
Willfully stuck the classified or improper material in his sock or maybe in his underwear. That showed a level of intent. And so, although you're right, intent may not be a specific requirement of these crimes, they are generally not prosecuted. What this all tells us is that we should stop weaponizing the criminal justice system and pass new laws that make it clear what is a crime, what isn't a crime, when can things be declassified. Remember that Joe Biden is the president of the United States. He could technically declassify these materials today. He's not going to do that because politically it would obviously backfire. But in the end, there's going to be investigations. I hope the investigations go deeper than these two people. And I bet you anything they will find other presidents who did the same thing, Republicans and Democrats.
Okay, very quickly, Doug, I don't know if you said something there.
I did, and look, I respect Alan a great deal. The problem is there are people who are prosecuted for this. There are people who lose their job for this in the military. There are people that do this all the time. I respect Alan Dershowitz greatly in this area of presidency, but when it comes to this law, it is prosecuted. It is two standards of justice, and that's the bottom line.
And Doug, I've seen it in the FBI and in the military. Alan, I'm sorry, with all due respect, you're completely wrong. These cases are prosecuted.
That's why we have all of you.
They're prosecuted every day against low-level agents and military people. It's just never prosecuted at the highest levels of these politicians.
Depends on who you are, it sounds like.
Exactly.
And we kind of know that Alan will be right at the end anyway, right?
Yes, no, he's always right at the end.
Yes.
Donald, because under your standards, Donald Trump should be prosecuted.
Well,
I'm saying,
absolutely, and this kind of cancels it out, which could be a political conversation, but I think we're talking.
Donald Trump was president and had the authority to declass, and you'd have to prove they weren't declassified.
This is why you're all here. You all have your viewpoints.
So,
and Alan, obviously,
sorry, Alan.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We really do. Doug Collins, also, sir, thank you, and Michael Grimm, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.